Don't want to miss today's episode of Nico Penguin's Gamer's Guide to Productivity, the podcast where we explore the amazing potential of gaming to improve our skills, connect with others, and achieve our goals. In today's episode, I'm thrilled to be joined by a Geek Talk with Tyler, a very accomplished individual who has his own book, his own podcast, and he does love gaming as well as geek stuff like Marvel, anime, and whatnot, which we'll be discussing today. Other than that, thank you so much, Tyler, for joining us today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
And I do want to give you the opportunity to let us know exactly what you do in regards to podcasting and writing, so that way everybody can go and support you.
Yeah, sure. I am as the little logo right here will say, Geek Talk with Tyler. You can support that show on Anchor as well as Spotify. Looking to diverse the content there. I have the live show in which Nico has had the pleasure of being on, Talk Geek with Tyler Brooke, as well as my published book, Peter and the Cold Christmas. I am working on other books right now, but those are my three biggest accomplishments that are marketable, say the least. I have done some other stuff
Yeah.
in my 30 some odd years of existence. But other than that, Nico, how are you doing today?
Oh, good, good, good. And yourself?
Can't complain. So far, this new year is meh. Just saw that Avatar movie. Probably would have been better if I brought some edibles. Plot wise, it just feels very copy and pasted to the original film.
Hmm.
Other AWA, Life's Connected, all that pretty strong cottony.
Interesting. I haven't seen it yet. I've heard it's not good, or it's at least not
It's
up
not
to
that it's
par.
not good. It's just not as good as its original because the original was a game changer on how we saw CGI.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, it was no Lord of the Rings, but what is?
No, that's true because the first one was such an instrumental one and a big box office hit. And when you have like $1 billion at the box office, it's hard to try to get to that level.
Especially in these post-COVID times. But can I give some spoilers?
Oh, go for it.
What I do like about it personally is that the people of I forgot the exact name
Navari.
because no, like the actual group of
Oh,
people that live in the water, how from a biologically standpoint of view, they're built differently. Whether you look at their arms, they got their third finger is kind of turned more into a fin. And while we see the original Navi's tail, it's kind of like, say, more lion
hmm,
like, theirs would be more fish like because they're more adept for life in the water. So, from a biological point of view, I do appreciate those subtle changes.
hmm.
But overall, it just kind of felt derivative. But that's the problem. We have so many movies and TV shows. After a while, they start looking very similar to one another.
Very true, very true. I heard some people say the same thing about games when you have like a whole bunch of different or quote unquote different video games, and they're all pretty much the same copy and paste RPG, first person shooter, storyline, that it makes it very hard to pick apart an actual original and well storyline game to be able to play.
Well, let's not forget a good portion of whatever we're doing, whether it's making TV shows, movies, games, it's always a business kind of a thing. You understand?
Hmm.
And when it's similar, it can be used to its benefits because a lot of the times parents are grabbing something, they really don't know the details, so they just grab it thinking, oh, this is something my kid would like because it's something else my kid is like, which is why we see so many shameless reboots and other what you call it bootleg stuff that looks similar to more successful counterparts. Like I cannot tell you how many shameless Family Guy clones or Simpsons clones there have been, or how many freaking Frozen was a thing. So from a marketing standpoint, it actually makes a lot of sense and holds water. But ethically, it just shows unoriginality.
Hmm. No, that is true. That is true because there are a lot of like Call of Duty games. Like I don't think Call of Duty is gonna ever run out. There's a lot of Grand Theft Auto games. I don't think Grand Theft Auto is gonna run out. and
Dude,
it's just
Simpsons are never gonna run out. Even if Dan
same Simpson.
Castellaneta dies, they're just
Yep.
gonna get somebody else to voice Homer Simpson.
And they never grow up. The kids are always the same age too.
Well, yeah, I mean, Maggie is like 30 years old, but trapped in the body of a baby. Unless it's a multiform thing. Oh, not multiform, sorry. A multiverse thing where each episode takes place in a different universe.
Mm. I mean, it could be something in regards to like those aliens that are always like watching them.
Could be.
Because I don't know if you've seen
It
those
could be like,
episodes.
how familiar are you with the X-Men franchise?
Yeah, I've watched a couple episodes of the X Men, and I've watched all
Which
the
one? Well,
movies.
which X-Men? There have been like several X-Men series.
Oof, the one from Sony, I believe. The whole series in the movies. I've seen some of the animated ones too.
The
Um,
90s animated ones, back with the badass theme song.
yep.
Okay, yeah, so you know who Mojo is, right?
I'm gonna have to
Big
pull up
yellow guy,
Mojo.
kinda looks like pretty much any stereotypical Comic-Con attendee.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, yeah, he looks familiar.
Yeah, he honestly, maybe there's just a theory that what the aliens are doing is what Mojo does with the X-Men. He just puts them out on competition and just uses them for entertainment.
Hmm.
Or quite possibly that the Simpsons don't even exist and the whole thing are just fragments of imagination.
Whose imagination?
Exactly. Quite possibly the aliens.
Hmm. That would be interesting to actually think about that.
I mean, can you explain why else these kids never age past of whatever age they are? But yet
I
somehow death is somehow coherent, as in the case with Maud Flanders.
I mean, it would be very similar to like how Ash Ketchum from Pokemon has never aged. He's been like 10 years old for like 40 years too.
There's a theory for that. Ash is actually dead.
Oh, what?
Well, there's a theory spouting around. Remember the very first episode of Pokemon?
Yeah.
He died in those battles with the Spearows, but when Ho-Oh found him, he not only gave him immortality, but eternal youth. That's why he never ages.
Oh, wow.
As for everybody else, I can't explain why they don't age.
And wouldn't it just be that they're like stuck in his like if he was in a non-aging or a coma or like a something like that, they're just a part of his dream.
That very well could be. But if it was really dreaming, wouldn't he always set himself to win? I mean, didn't he just like win his very first
Yes.
competition? I mean, granted, you could argue the Orange Islands or whatever it was, he won there. But I think this is like the first time he won a real major event.
I mean, I guess sometimes, but sometimes when you dream, you have nightmares and you're never winning and you're always losing all the time. So it could be that he was in a negative state of mind when he was either killed or like put in a coma state. So that way he set himself up to never win until at the
Yes,
end.
and the nightmare where apparently jelly donuts and onigiri are the same type of food.
Yo, like wow, that's actually pretty funny because then I also heard about so many different things in regards to like the anime world, how now I don't know if you've noticed with anime now everything is becoming so surreal that all these different like animes are based off of potential alternate histories, like with Attack on Titan being a potential like alternate history of like what the world used to look like and whatnot. Or have
Well,
you
as
ever
far as
heard
the
or
whole
seen?
what really makes it stand out, what makes Attack on Titan really stand out is that it not only knows how to tackle serious issues, but it's one of those dystopian future-esque animes.
Hmm.
I mean, which I've personally never really been a fan of Attack on Titan. Don't get me wrong, it's not that it's not good, it just feels like it's always serious 100% of the time. Whereas your shows like One Piece, they know how to tackle serious issues, and yes, they do, but there's also some levity in there.
Yeah, a lot of people would say that One Piece is like almost never serious because it's like the amount of ratio from like serious to like always joking around compared to Attack on Titan.
That's definitely one of the more negative stereotypes of being a One Piece fan that I've dealt with. Yes, Oda does know how to deliver comedy well, but he does know how to tackle several other things: slavery, LGBTQ awareness, racism. Those are all things he has tackled, and he does them really well,
What would you
even if
say
it's
is
in a more allegoric fashion.
what would you say is like your favorite arc of One Piece?
Pre or post time skip?
Either.
Pre time skip, really loved Annie's Lobby. Post time skip, so far Wano. But as a manga reader, I'm also reading Egghead Island, and so far it's not bad.
Okay, so do you think in regards to the Enies lobby, that it's set up for pretty much the actual Egghead Island now, where they're pretty much doing the same thing, fighting the same characters
I
10
mean, the
years
only real
apart?
similarity I've really seen between the two of them is that two of the confirmed CP9 members are CP0 members, that being Lucci and Kaku. And we really haven't seen Kaku fight Zoro yet. We've seen them interactive, but not like full blown fight.
Mm-hmm.
Really can't call this a revenge fight. Luffy is just beating the absolute shit out of Lucci, but to be fair, he basically has Toon Force abilities now.
Yeah, that was so funny. Once, when for all anime only watchers, I apologize, but that is so. When I saw that Gear Fifth, that pretty much was what his ability is, and how Vegapunk, spoiler alert, confirmed that the Gum Gum fruit is actually not the Gum Gum fruit, which we kind of already knew that and
Yeah,
whatnot.
they CP0 spoke about that, and I think this kind of goes within the misconception about devil fruit eaters. Somebody said once you eat a devil fruit, you automatically know what it is. This, of course, implying you know what the name of the fruit is, which is not true at all. Once you eat the fruit, you know what powers it holds. That doesn't mean you know the name, as in case in Wano has proven, where they always refer to their devil fruit abilities as jutsus.
Yeah, and
You just
how?
know what you can do, but doesn't magically mean you know the name of it.
Hmm. And do you buy into what Vegapunk was saying about how devil fruits pretty much are what humans want to accomplish and want to do, and it gives them the ability, like that extra boost in getting that ability done?
Well, that depends on the devil fruit you're talking about. Like, there's some really good, outstanding devil fruits for any group you can think of. Like, for example, Caesar Clown's devil fruit, in my opinion, is extremely underrated. It's just a good case of subpar devil fruit, but really phenomenal user because
Hmm.
he applied every aspect of that devil fruit. Like when Usopp was going to shoot the firebird that he used on the flag of the world government,
Yeah.
we thought, oh my god. What he did instead is that he actually removed the oxygen from the fire, making it less, as well as removing the oxygen from around the area.
Hmm. Hmm. Now,
But then there's some really shit devil fruits, like say if the person ate the human no me, what's that going to accomplish?
I thought that was kind of funny because now Chopper has the ability to speak to animals, but he ate the human no me. So would that mean that animals can talk to each other, or that because he has the human no me, it gives him the ability to speak to any living being now?
Well, I mean, humans in that universe have always spoken to other members, fishmen, giants, dwarves. But as far as the ones that really don't speak English, it could mean that, but it could very well just not mean that because there are some species who really don't communicate at all. Like if you remember the walking rabbits, they
Yeah.
really didn't really speak at all.
Hmm. Man, that's actually true. And then in regards to like, do you think any of the other Straw Hats are gonna get their own devil fruits, or you think it's set in stone?
I think at this point it's set in stone. And what I've noticed from every Devil Fruit user the Straw Hat Pirates have, whether it's Luffy or Chopper or Brooke or Robin, is that they already entered the crew with their Devil Fruits.
Hmm.
Granted, Oda confirmed in a Q&A that if each member of the Straw Hat Pirates had Devil Fruits, this is what it would be. And I just find it funny that of the two aspects, it's no doubt in my mind that Zoro and Sanji are two of the strongest members. And Oda gave Zoro such a strong fruit, that being Kaido's fruit,
Yeah.
and he would have given Sanji's fruit such a weak fruit, which was the swim fruit.
But I also think that didn't Oda say that specifically he would give the Kaido's devil fruit to Zoro's sword, not necessarily to Zoro?
Yes, but if he had to eat one, this is what it would be. And I just
Ooh.
find it funny that many of the inanimate objects are capable of eating devil fruits, though the only ones I've seen so far only ate Zoans.
Mm.
Like when the fur concept was first introduced, Usopp was like, "Wait, your dog ate a devil fruit? No, our gun ate a devil fruit," making it sound like that's just everyday conversation, like an everyday thing that happens.
Yeah, I still remember Frank Freed, the elephant sword.
Right? Wait, your elephant ate a devil fruit? Nope, the other way around. My sword ate a devil fruit. Now I have an elephant sword.
Yeah, that's so
I would
funny.
still
And
like to know how inanimate objects are capable of eating devil fruits. Which, riddle me this: like, say, the ground we're standing on eats a devil fruit, and keep in mind, devil fruit users can't swim. Would that island automatically sink?
hmm, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's a
But
good
it just
question.
shows what the limits are for having such a powerful thing. I mean, it's one of those monkey paw situations if you're a fish man, as proven with Vanderdeck and Jack, who have both eaten devil fruits.
Yeah, they just sink to the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, I mean they can still breathe, but you're just there. You can't drown, but you can't swim out of there either.
Hmm. I mean, but now that I think that with Vegapunk joining the crew, I think it
Well,
might be
whoever said
possible
he's
for.
joining the crew.
Oh, he is definitely joining the crew.
Isn't that what we said about Yamato and Carrot and
Uh,
Vivi?
oh well, I think Vivi's an unofficial member because
Is
it
she?
didn't they do that whole thing with the X on there saying that the next time she has the opportunity, she can join the crew again.
Yes, but the reason she really didn't was to be the what's called the ruler of her kingdom. So
Hmm.
instead, we got Robin, which I personally believe is a nice trade-off.
But I still think Vegapunk joining the crew means that other people on the crew that don't have a fruit, they might get a fruit, or they're inanimate objects. Like Usopp might get that whole fruit or whatever, where he can store stuff.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you something. Let's say hypothetically all the Straw Hats gain devil fruits. The Marine ship blows a huge hole in the side of their ship. Who's going to save them?
That's a good question.
If you're going to
I,
have at least some, you should have at least some devil fruits users and some non-devil fruit users to balance it out.
no, that's
In
why I
fact,
said
it was
the
actually
inanimate
proven in
objects.
the gladiator battle. It's like, if I
Mhm.
win this Maramara no Mi, I want you to have it, Frankie. He's like, no, I can't eat a devil fruit. Otherwise, I'll just sink to the bottom.
No, I don't think Frankie would have one. I think it would be like Nami's staff would get like some sort of like weatherization fruit. Usopp's either bag or his
Well,
slingshot Kabuto.
he already has that in the form of Zeus, if you remember.
Hmm. Interesting. The only
As
thing
a
is that
for
if
Usopp,
Big
on the
Mom
other hand,
passes,
well, who's to say? Maybe Pudding got that wrong. I mean, we don't know what happened to Kaido or the other members of the Beast Pirates.
hmm,
Besides, Oda did say he has a final war plan that would make the Paramount War look like a boring filler arc. So maybe all the Yonko that are left, or past and present, would get involved.
yeah, I don't know if you saw like what do you think is going to happen though if Garp pulls up on Blackbeard though?
That could give Luffy the kick in the pants he needs to finally take Blackbeard down.
You
But on
think
the
you think
other
you
hand,
think Garp gets washed?
well, Blackbeard has two devil fruits, both of
Hmm.
them stupidly powerful. Maybe a third if we're going on the theory of his flag.
Yeah, yeah.
And keep in mind, one of those fruits was the former Yonko Whitebeard, who, keep in mind, in his prime, went toe to toe with Roger himself.
True, true.
Granted, that doesn't mean that Blackbeard is as good as that fruit as Whitebeard was,
Hmm.
but still, even an amateur can make great use out of that power.
Hmm. But Garp went toe to toe with Roger,
Yes, yes,
and
he did.
the only person that was able to go up against Roger like that, other than Garp, was Sengoku.
Yes, but keep in mind, Garp is much older now. So he doesn't, he's not, he's still strong, but he's not as strong. And what people don't know about the Blackbeard Pirates, they always saying, oh, we hate the Blackbeard Pirates for killing Ace, for killing Whitebeard. Like, I'm sorry, do you not know what a pirate is? They kill, they murder, they steal, they rape. This is what traditional pirates do. And
True.
granted, the pirates of One Piece are not traditional in many ways, whether it be the devil fruit aspect or if you look historically, many women were not permitted on crews, so they had to hide their femininity. Whereas in the opposite case of both Nami and Robin, jugs a poppin'. But
No, that's true.
in terms of actions, Blackbeard and his crew are definitely the most traditional pirates out there.
Yeah, him and definitely him, Law, and Eustace Kid are pretty much like the most normal pirates out there because they
In
actually
terms of what
plunder.
pirates traditionally do, hell,
Right,
you could
right.
even argue that Kaido and Big Mom were what traditional pirates do.
Yeah, because they backstab each other, they set alliances, and they join their crews together. They set it for a common goal.
Overthrow countries, make Xanatos style gambits, which incidentally hashtag keep edging gargoyles.
Yep, they also do the behind the scenes contracts with the countries, just like how it used to happen with privateers, quote unquote.
Exactly. So that's just the one of the main things people don't realize about these villains. And granted, that still makes them villains in every sense of the word, but it also makes them pirates because traditional pirates have done this shit. And if their crews are still in Somalia and other parts of the world, still do this stuff.
Hmm. Now, when Oda mentioned that somebody might be potentially dying this year, who did that make you think actually might be passing?
Honestly, and I hate to say it, Usopp.
Oh, you think it's a Straw Hat?
Well, think about it. Usopp wants to be a great warrior of the sea. Can you
Mm-hmm.
think of a more befitting um, way for him to go than to die during a battle?
Mm.
It's like that Code of Hero episode of Beast Wars, if you've ever seen it, where Dinobot has always lived as a warrior with the honor of a Predacon, but then he died the way a Maximal would by sacrificing himself for for the good of others.
Oh, so you think he takes a self sacrifice for the Straw Hats or something?
I think he would.
That's interesting. A lot of people are thinking that it might be Blackbeard versus Shanks, and Shanks gets killed and gives Luffy that inspiration to try to go after him or something like that.
If he didn't get the inspiration from Ace, I'm not sure where else he's going to get it from.
I mean, right now he's not chasing Blackbeard.
Well, no, he's on Egghead Island beating the absolute shit out of Rob Lucci in a Tom and Jerry style fight. No pun
True.
intended for Lucci's Devil Fruit, of course.
Oh, how about you think about his awakening too? Because his awakening was a little suspect.
I'm not as street as you are, so suspect.
So it's like his awakening was like it was just so like off putting because it's
Ah,
like as soon as he like pops up into the actual like post time skip, he is a completely different individual, quote unquote. And then like his devil fruit getting awakened looks so weird.
okay,
And
so
then
I understand what you're going for.
yeah, and then it
I've
looks like
always
he's
found
supposed to
the
be at like
concept
Kaido.
of awakens to be familiar. We only have a handful of users who are confirmed awakens. Lucci
Hmm.
is one of them, I believe Kaido is, because what I've noticed about both Luffy and Lucci's fruit is that they
Hmm.
got the fire around themselves as much Kaido does as he does in his beast form. So I
Mm.
believe Kaido's an awakened. But then again, we also have the jailer beasts. The very first Zoan awakens.
Right, right, right.
So I believe there's awakened and then there's master awakened. We're not going all Chopper's monster point pre time skip, all feral monster. Then again, we also have characters like Katakuri and Doflamingo who are awakened, but they generate stuff. In the case of Mochi and String, and it wouldn't be surprising to me if Akayino and Akuiji were both awakened, considering the state of Punk Hazard.
Mm. Wouldn't it be cool if they were able to like do some sort of an animation or some sort of like a either movie about what happened during that time where Akainu and Aokiji fought?
I'm going to answer your question with a question. Do a little Socratic method on you. Have you catched my episode with where I speak to Greg Wiseman, the creator of Gargoyles?
No.
Well, first off, I strongly suggest you check it out. And if you guys do like that episode, please add hashtag keep binging gargoyles. But I asked him about a series involving Demona, a standalone series. What
Hmm.
happened to her in the 1,000 years after the um, Castle Wyvern massacre? He told me less is more. And as in the case of the many battles we don't see with One Piece, I believe that's the case. It's always fun to speculate, and when you see the real thing, it's probably not going to live up to the hype. So, no, I would not like to see that.
Are there any fights that you wish you could see, or do you like how
Fights that
Oda?
have already existed, or
Mhm.
fights that we could just hypothesize on, like, say, off the top of my head, Lucci versus Kaido.
Ooh, ooh, that's a good one too. But I think Kaido would wipe the floor with him.
Well, I mean, you're sending a house cat against a dragon. What do you expect was going to happen?
Yeah, that is so true. Now, I do want to take some time to ask you about the material that you actually write, because, of course, we can blabber on about the great Goda and everything that he's been doing so far. But you also have some of your own material as well.
I do. I'm a published author. I wrote a children's book, which serves as my Christmas special, that I did with Marlene Sharp and Ken Weisselman. We read that. It's being looked at to a major production, whether it be a TV
Ooh.
special or a movie. I am trying to get back into other books, and I would really like to start writing comics because I have so many ideas. And obviously they're going to be Oda inspired for them. But the right now, the only claim to fame I have that's published is Peter and the Cold Christmas. If you guys are looking for a different Christmas story than the one you're used to, I strongly suggest you read that, not as the writer, but also as the reader.
Interesting. And where are they available?
Uh, they're not available on Amazon because technical issues. But if you would like one, please reach out to me. I am available on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn.
Nice. And quick question: when did you get into One Piece and following Oda and his marvelous works?
I've been a One Piece fan for a good portion of my life, and at this point, I don't know how to treat the series when it ended. And this is going to be a little controversial, but what originally got me into it was the Four Kids when it was introduced into the states. I mean, of course, at the time, I didn't know any better,
Hmm.
but I found, but eventually, it was picked up by Funimation. And then at the point, I developed the ability to watch subbed anime, and I am currently following the subbed. I am currently in the Wano arc, and I can't wait to see how the new year treats these current episodes.
Mm. And how do you feel about Zoro's potential lineage with Wano and him actually being Ryuma's descendant and hinted at multiple times throughout the series?
Well, I'm going to ask you something. Do you read the manga as well as watch the anime?
Oh, I've read the manga a few times.
Okay, so this was confirmed in a Q&A that each of the Straw Hats, if this was taking place in the real world, would have different ethnicities to them. Luffy would be Brazilian.
Yep.
Nami would be Swedish, if memory serves correctly.
Hmm.
Usopp would be somewhere from Africa. I want to say
Yep.
maybe South Africa. Sanji would be from France.
Yep.
Chopper would be Canadian. Frankie would be American. Robin
That's
is Russian.
super.
Uh, Brooke is Austrian. Jinbei is surprising. I always thought he would be Polynesian, but turns out he's Indian, like
Hmm.
yeah, Indian. And
Hmm.
then there's Zoro, who would be Japanese. And if we look at each place in the One Piece world, it's no surprise that each one was inspired by world places.
Right.
Amazon Lily was inspired by China by design. Um, Dressrosa is obviously inspired by Spain, I want to say.
Yes. Yes.
And Whole Cake Island is just Alice in Wonderland. So I don't
Hmm.
know what
Hmm.
real world area that would be. But Wano is obviously One Piece's answer to Japan. So if you told me that Zoro's ancestry was from Wano, that wouldn't surprise me.
Hmm. Because when he cut that dragon, he did it in the same style of the one shot that Oda did before he did One Piece, in the same exact style that he cut the dragon's head off in Punk Hazard.
Well, yes, but just because you have someone's technique does automatically mean you have their lineage. Robin is able to use Fishman karate, but she's 100% human.
True, true. Same with Koala. Koala. She did the same. She's the fisherman instructor for the revolutionaries.
Case in point, or we can dive into that further. Who's Who has all those CP9 techniques, even though he's no longer part of CP9. Of course, he wasn't at one point, so that may not be the best example.
Yeah, his fruit is OP as well. Like, oof.
Oh, as far as ancient Zoans go, I mean, take into consideration the fact that carnivorous Zoans are better at fighting than your traditional Zoans, a carnivorous prehistoric Zoan may be the best way to go. Kind of disappointed we didn't see a T Rex devil fruit, but I guess the T Rex has been overused over the years.
I mean, isn't X Drake's the T Rex?
Allosaurus, actually.
Oh, oh, so that may be alluding to a future revelation that somebody might get a T Rex fruit.
I doubt it. I mean, at this point, all the ancients are confirmed, are done with, and we've had 9 ancients, if memory serves, and 6 of them are dinosaurs. The other 3 are a saber-toothed cat, a mammoth, and a spider.
Yo, that gets me mad hype. Now, I did want to give you the opportunity to once again let everybody know where they can support you, where they can go to get your material, where they can listen to you, where they can drop you some sort of likes, subscriptions, etc. So that way people can go and help you on your way.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, I am available on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Feel free to message me on there. I also have Discord, but spoiler, I really don't use that much. And feel free to listen to my shows, both on the Mancini Media page as well as on Spotify and Anchor. Geek Talk with Tyler for the Anchor and Spotify show, and Mancini Media is my live show, an episode of which I've done with Nico Penguin. And check that episode out if you can. That is the Talk Geek with Tyler Brooks show.
And last few questions I did want to ask, since this is a gamer inspired show, what is your favorite game and your favorite system? And you can go back many years or you can use a recency bias answer.
Nintendo 64 will always hold a special place in my heart. But as far, are we talking video games or any games? Because I really do enjoy shooting people with paintball guns.
Oh, that's hey, that's fine too.
And yes, paintball. But honestly, and I know this is really more of a party game and not a real true gamer, any of the player versus player fights, whether it's your Super Smash Bros. Or your Marvel versus Combat, something's just satisfying about defeating a person on a video game instead of those adventure ones, which I do enjoy, but
Right.
player versus player is just so more enticing, in my opinion.
All right. So then what are your favorite go-to picks on Smash Bros?
Hmm. You mean like characters?
Yep, the ones that you would choose to play to destroy your 1v1.
Uh, Probably like, are we talking like the old school ones or the current players? Because at this point, there's way too many to remember.
I stick with the same one, so it's up to you.
Honestly, Donkey Kong, because I really do enjoy that very hard Donkey Kong meme.
Oh, like the down B.
Yeah, where you see the levels and Donkey Kong's hard and he's smiling about it. He's like,
No, that's funny. My go-to is
check
Link.
out my out of context episode I do with JV Hilliard.
Ooh, okay. That's actually pretty cool that you have still the N64 in mind. Because a lot of people will have that recency bias for whatever they're currently playing and using at the time, and they'll completely forget about that.
Well, there's no school like old school because everything new is just a rehashed version of what already happened.
Okay. Oh, you came out here with some bars. Well, I don't want to take any more of your time. Thank you so much, Geek Talk with Tyler, for giving us uh, an introspective mind as to what you think about One Piece, because I love One Piece as well, and I love the way that you also think about One Piece, and
Yeah,
giving
I
us
gotta
that.
say I'm surprised by you. For one of my upcoming specials, I gave you the Shueisha team option, and you chose a Naruto character of a One
Oh
Piece
yeah.
character.
No, because if I would have chose One Piece, I would have been like, nah, I'm too fanboying. I had to choose somebody safe. Rock Lee was the choice that I went
No, I mean
with.
he's safe and everything, and I get that. Just I'm surprised you didn't go the One Piece route. Though, if I did make the Shueisha team, at least half of the players would be from One Piece.
Yeah, and I know Zora would have been picked already.
Yeah, well, Zoro wouldn't be allowed to use his swords. Part of the rules.
Yeah, so it's like I'm like, let me choose somebody else who's actually pretty good in taijutsu like Rock
I
Lee.
mean, it works. Just
Yeah.
not who I would have chosen. That's all.
Who would you have chosen if you could?
For the Shueisha team,
Hmm.
Bartholomew Kuma. The whole point is get your opponent out of the ring.
Mm, that's a solid choice. I could see him winning just like how he won in the Coliseum. At
Right,
least
but if
his
we're
portion.
looking for a fair fight, at least Bartolomeo, which is still a good defensive fruit, but it's not like stupidly overpowered.
I mean, that versus a shock from Kuma, and then the barrier no me. Those are OP fruits, I think.
I mean, hey, if you ever need a goalie for a soccer game, boom, those are your two players.
Yo, that's such a cheat. You'll never score.
Exactly.
Oh man, nah. Thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day. Everybody, make sure to check him out and support him. Other than that, that's been another episode of the Nico Pingan interview series. Other than that, take care and have a great rest of your day.